Hey, it's Bill Gross, the LAProbate expert.com. And I'm really excited to have today somebody that I've seen over the years, and most recently met up again with at the LA Grand Expo, Brad Blazar, who's an author and he's a leader, entrepreneur, coaching people on how to raise money in real estate. Brad, welcome to our time today. Welcome to our call.
Thanks, Bill. It's great to be here. It's so excited to just bring value and share my story, and more important, hopefully just teach the people that listen to your show a little bit about what we do and who I am.
Thank you. So I'm just curious, where do we catch you today? Is this your home office, and where are you located?
Yeah, this is my home office, getting ready actually to put on a live event that we're doing here in Houston tomorrow. So we're boxing up a lot of the books, a lot of the workbooks and guides. And so I'm working from home today.
H-Town, very nice. And the football behind you, where's that from?
Say that again?
The football behind you over your left shoulder, where's that from?
The football behind me is actually signed. It's autographed by all of the members on what was the former state championship high school football team here in our area. Katy High School has won a number of national titles.
Sure.
And, that's an autographed football from all of the players on the team.
Very nice, very nice. So tell us a little background before we get started about real estate and making money. Tell us a little background about you. Where'd you grow up, and then how'd you get into real estate initially?
Yeah, so I grew up, just like a lot of people, middle class. My dad was an executive. Every couple of years, we were transplanted, we were uprooted. I had to move around a lot. And I think in me, that really fostered the ability to develop relationships with people, make friends pretty quickly. My mom, for the most part, was a stay-at-home mom until most of my siblings and I were older. And then she went to work as a real estate agent, like a lot of moms do. There was a third person in my life that I largely credit with much of my success. And it was very similar to what Robert Kiyosaki talks about in his book, Rich Dad. And it was my rich Uncle Henry. I had a very wealthy uncle that was an orphan that never had more than a sixth grade education. But with a partner, he co-founded a very successful women's fashion clothing line that they ultimately sold for millions of dollars. And he really with me a lot of the traits and a lot of the secrets to success. And when I was about 7 or 8 years old, I still vividly remember him saying something to me that for me at the time was really a revelation. And that revelation has manifested itself today in my life, where today I have the luxury and the wonderful business of coaching students in 7 countries around the world.
Wow.
I live here in Texas, of course, just outside the Houston area. But what I really am passionate about is really helping other people see potential in themselves that they do not yet see, and then basically pulling that out of them so that they can move forward, transform their lives, and ultimately become much more successful at what they ultimately want to do.
Nice. So now you're in Houston and you're advanced in Houston. Do you have students around the country, or are they also local based? How does that work?
We actually have students around the world, Bill. Currently, we're coaching students in 7 countries, not only here in the USA. We have students in Canada. We have students in Australia, New Zealand, in England, in Latin America, and Dubai. And so, with the power of global coaching with Zooms, we largely now coach people around the world. And what I explain to people is that the language of attracting, speaking to, closing, and raising money from high net worth investors is largely the same anywhere you go. The only real thing that is going to be different might be the securities regulations as to what you can and cannot do within your country of origin. So we always tell our students and our mentees, you definitely want to retain counsel where you reside, because things might be a little different in Australia than perhaps they are here in the United States.
Right.
But we currently have a coaching program now, like I said, where we're coaching people globally around the world.
Now, the particular niche that I've seen you in most recently, I don't know if it's exclusive for you or just your focus recently, is capital raising. You're coaching people who want to raise money to syndicate property. They're going to buy a big property, $5 million, get investors in small chunks, 50, 100, 250, something like that. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I did turn off my dentist. So something like that. So tell me a little bit about the kind of core product that you're teaching people and helping them achieve.
Yeah, great question. So my background and really what I call my hard skill, my primary skill, has always been raising money, knowing how to attract, how to close high net worth investors. And I've been doing this now for over 30 years. have raised over $2 billion in investor capital from all sources, not just high net worth individuals, but I've raised money from family offices, pensions, trusts, sovereign wealth funds, pretty much you name it, I've done it. And so what we teach is how to really attract the capital you need to launch, scale, or build a business. So many people today have a dream in life. They want to be doing something bigger. And when they hear about me and we have a strategy call, I always ask them, like, well, if this has been a dream of yours for so many years, why have you not already gotten started, or why are you not doing it?
Right.
And the biggest reason I hear is I don't have the money. And my response to
Wow.
that is you don't need the money. All the money that you need exists in the hands of other people. You just need to learn how to talk to investors and how to raise that capital so that you can launch your business. And so it doesn't matter whether it's the small newbie just getting started in real estate that's doing the RRRR, where they're buying, renting and then refinancing, or to get into multifamily or to get into commercial. We can teach people literally how to raise that first 50 to 100,000, or like you said, we can teach people how to syndicate, how to put together their offering memorandum, how to put together their pitch deck, how to take that and go out and raise $5-10 million. So it really doesn't matter where you are in your capital raising journey. We teach everybody from beginners to those that are doing it that just want to take it to the next level, to those that actually now want to launch a full-scale fund and know how to actually launch that. Because in addition to teaching people how to raise money, I also syndicate real estate as well.
I've been in real estate since 1986, and I tell people every day, there's never been a better time to get started, in that there's an almost unlimited amount of capital available. You mentioned, and I hear all the time as well, I can't get started, I don't have money. There's never been more money available to a brand new investor. If you have a deal today, there's money for it. True or false?
Yep, absolutely. 100% true.
Now, what percentage of your student activity is focused on real estate versus non-real estate? Because I know you also talked about raising money for business ventures, which is different business. So what percentage is real estate, and how does that figure into the deal?
Yeah, I'd say that probably about 65-70% of our students are real estate focused. The other roughly 25 to 30 are e-commerce, raising money to start a business, or maybe in energy, oil and natural gas, or in some other industry where they still need capital. They still want to raise money to grow or to build their business. But the bulk of the people that we work with are real estate entrepreneurs. And so we've got this wonderful community, because within our private Facebook group and within the community itself, many of these people are active investors. And so I always explain to our students and the people we mentor, take your deal right into our Facebook community, because many of the other students that we're working with might raise their hand and say, yeah, put me in for 50,000 or put me in for 100,000 because I'm an accredited investor and I'm already in real estate. It's something I love. It's something I'm passionate about. And more importantly, it's something I already understand. So we built this wonderful community where many of our students are now co-investing and actually helping other students, as well as, of course, teaching people really how to raise capital from people that are beyond, quote, what I call that friends and family. Personally, for me, I've never raised money from friends and family. And I think really the reason I've never done that is I realize that sometimes, investments don't go as planned. And I don't want to put myself in a situation or put myself in a position where I put at risk or God forbid, lose money from a family or friend, because obviously that's going to diminish and potentially destroy a relationship that I really value and give credibility to. So all the money I've raised has always been from people I never knew.
Well, I rarely talk to agents, real estate agents, who maybe have flipped some houses, maybe bought some investment property on their own, and say they want to get into raising money to buy multifamily more than they can afford on their own. And I literally was on a call a week ago. I help real estate agents increase their business and get passive income through their real estate practice. That's my focus. I'm not really interested in raising money and doing what we do. No offense, it's just not, doesn't get me excited. But I do look, but I'm on this call and I'm looking at this investment saying, wow, for $50,000, I get that kind of return, that kind of tax benefit. I'm an investor, and you're right. The community of real estate, if we just put the package together in a professional format and let our friends and colleagues know about it, let alone your community, I would think right now a good deal is going to get funded. Like, if you put a time in on that, you're going to get paid on something like that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As an example, I was approached about 2 weeks ago by a very good friend of mine here in Houston. He's a two-time Grammy Award-winning musical artist. He also has received the Dove Award, the Stellar Award, so just a very accomplished individual. He partnered with the Salvation Army to create an NFT, which is a non-fungible token, very similar to some of the digital coins, that's going to be backed by a documentary and music and over 10,000 pieces of art. And this is largely going to become a fundraiser for the Salvation Army. And he said, I need to raise about $200,000 for this project to pay the musicians to get in the studio, do the recordings, etc. You know, you're the expert. You've raised over $2 billion. Do you think you can help me? Now, obviously, when somebody as well known as the Salvation Army calls out to someone who's raised $2 billion and says, can you help us raise money? I said, sure. Fast forward 2 weeks later, we've successfully closed out $200,000, fully subscribed. We probably had a waiting list of other people that wanted to get in. But it just goes to show you that, you know, literally in 2 weeks, I was able to raise $200,000 for a project that I was approached on. And it wasn't at all difficult. It wasn't at all challenging. It's just understanding the principles and the things that you have to do in order to have a successful capital raise. And what I typically see all the time as I talk to people that have either given up or have tried to raise money and have not been successful or are doing it, but they're floundering, is there are definitely a couple of rookie mistakes that are made along the way. And once we can identify what those rookie mistakes are and correct them, then raising capital becomes very easy to people that want to do it, because it's like you said earlier, Bill, if you've got a good deal, money will literally flow out of the corners. You know, people are looking for great investment opportunities, you know,
every day.
They're looking for places
Every day. I get phone calls
to
every day from investors. Just, in fact, I was going to post on my social media on Monday. Every day people call me, hey, come on, I know you know good deals. And I'm just, you know, I'm doing a good job as a broker. I've never made more money. I'm happy with my business. I wish I had another 100 properties to get people, but there isn't enough. You're right. There's more money than ever before in this business.
Absolutely. Yep.
So it seems to me, and in every business I've seen, and I've been around a while, that it's never just the idea, but it's a lot of little details that go into the process that creates success. So there's been, seems to me, successful people and not. It's never a big idea. Oh, you have to be on YouTube. It's all the little details that if you're on YouTube, you have to do properly, as an example, in order to be successful at it. I imagine, like you said, a couple of rookie mistakes. There's probably a process you have that avoids not just a couple, but probably hundreds. There's probably hundreds of details that you do, maybe not even consciously. Maybe you've just seen it done the right way that you're not aware. What are 2 or 3 maybe common mistakes that you see people who aren't maybe don't have a process that you see the mistakes they make that perhaps are indicators they really need to kind of get into a more professional process for their presentation?
Yeah, I'd say the number one mistake is basically coming to a potential investor with a great idea. And, you know, I've spoken alongside Shark Tank's Kevin Harrington, so I know Kevin. He spoke at my event this year. I've listened to people like Damon John, Kevin O'Leary. And what I've learned is you can have the best idea and think that this idea is going to make millions and take that out to potential investors. But I'll tell you this, investors do not invest their money in great ideas. What they invest in are people that have good ideas, but more importantly, show that they can execute on those ideas. In other words, it's either your prior performance or your background or your knowledge or your expertise. And if you don't have it, maybe you've assembled a team of people around you that gives you the credibility where you can say, you know, well, I've never done this. I partnered with Bill, and Bill is the PhD when it comes to getting this done. So he's one of the members of my advisory team. So when you're out pitching realize you've got to convince that other person that you can execute on whatever it is you're trying to do, whether it's real estate, whether it's building a business, whether it's anything, because they want to be able to put their money to work with people that basically they can trust, that they like, and more importantly, that can provide returns on that capital. The second thing, I think more importantly, is really rushing the process. There's a wonderful book called The Trust Economy. You can find it on Amazon. It was written by an author named Philippe de Koner. And in the book, he talks basically about 6 things that need to happen sequentially to build trust and build a relationship with another person. And what I explain to people is nobody's going to invest money with you unless they're, friends and family, until they trust you.
Right.
So knowing what you have to do to build that trust is very important. And the biggest mistake I see from potential rookie investors is that they have this deal, they now have it under contract, and now on that first or second conversation with a potential investor, they're trying to pitch. They're saying, hey, I've got this great deal. I want to talk to you about it. And while that potential investor might appear interested, there really is not the basis of trust in a relationship. And so I always explain to people, spend 2 or 3 times with that person, get on a phone call and disarm them. Just let them know, look, I right now don't have anything that I can really talk to you about as it relates to an investment. I just want to get to know you, want to get to know what you like to invest in, want to know if you're qualified as a potential investor for me. And then after you've built that relationship where they trust you and you've added value, now maybe on that 3rd or 4th conversation, call that person back and say, Bill, the last time we spoke, you asked me to put your name on a list in the event I saw anything that I thought might excite you. Just so happens I have a small deal. I don't have a lot of it left, but if you have a few minutes, I'd love to tell you about it. And so what I explain to people that want to raise money is slow down the process, invest in the other person first, get to know them, build that trust level up so that when you do come to them with a deal, they're much more likely to become a capital partner and ultimately invest with you.
Those are such good fundamentals. Just to kind of recap both of them, and they're so true as a real estate salesperson, I know them. The first one talked about not having an idea, but really having a process and laid it out. In real estate, I always say, show the prospect what yes looks like. Yeah. If you want me to sell your house and I'm going to present myself for the job, doesn't mean I ask you to sign a contract, but I give you the contract filled out with the estimated net sheet and say, if you sign, here's what it looks like. Here's what the net dollar would be. Is this going to get you what you want to get the job done? Here's a list of things I'm going to do. And that way, if you look at this, you could say yes or no based on, I've given you it out. This is what yes would look like. And so you're right. People talk about ideas or property without a full plan. And I think that's what you're saying about having it ready. And then the second, it's interesting that you talk about the process of a relationship, because I agree. People aren't going to let me sell their house if they don't know me, like me, and trust me. I know those 3 things are true. The other thing I would add to that is I think it just takes longer to do those 3 things than people expect. They think because they have a great deal, you're going to say, oh, yeah, I'll write a check for $1,000. What's your name again, Joe? Sure. I'm going to make double my money. Why not? It doesn't work that way because they might like the deal, but they don't know you and trust you. And you're absolutely right. There's that process. So I think this really gets back to every business has certain basic fundamentals, and you have to follow the fundamentals. There's no shortcut to that.
Correct. Yeah.
So let's talk about a little bit about the character of people who are successful that you see. There are people who come at this, I know you see this all the time, and they just want you to bless their deal so they get funding. Like, can you give me the magic pixie dust? I just want to sprinkle it on and get paid. I really don't want to go through the whole process. There's other people who follow the process, learn the fundamentals, and have success. What do you see as the difference between those 2 people, the one who's successful and the one who's not, in terms of their character?
Yeah, this is a great question, and this is so true. And I've learned this over the years by literally sharing the stage with people who are, super successful. I mean, whose net worths are in the hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. And what people have to understand is that we as human beings are not wired to thrive. Our brain basically is programmed in a manner that largely sets us up for failure, because there's a part of the brain that basically is designed to do one thing, and that's keep us alive. That is the purpose of the human brain. It's to keep
Mm.
you alive. And so whenever there's anything that presents itself that is put in front of you that scares you or you're fearful of, that part of the brain says, oh, slow down. It's the fight or flight part of the brain. And what a lot of super successful people have learned is that we have this fear, we have what we call self-doubt, limiting beliefs. And so many people succumb to those
Yeah.
that they never rise to a level of success that they're potentially capable of rising to, because every time that part of the brain says, oh, don't do that. Oh, you don't have the money. You just back away and you retreat, because the brain, like I said, is not wired to see us thrive. And
Right.
so you have to develop what I call this shell by learning from other people, whether it's a coach or a mentor or a teacher or reading books, that every time something like that presents itself, you have to realize that it largely is a false belief. And you can do one of two things. You can either face everything and retreat, or you can face everything and rise. And fear basically stands for false evidence appearing real. It's a false belief. And once you start to recognize that and start to challenge that and do things that are outside of your comfort zone, that's where the real success and the real transformation takes place. As an example, when I made the decision late last year to host an event and say, I want to have 150 to 200 people at this event, who can I get to speak? I started reaching out to people, and I called Kevin Harrington. And Kevin said, I'd love to speak at your event, Brad, but with COVID, I can't be there in person. I'll do it virtually. You can Zoom me in. I'll speak from the screen. I'll share my knowledge and everything with you from home. I said, great. He said, I normally charge this, but because it's virtual, I'll do it for $17,500. I said, great, done deal. And I hung up the phone and I said, holy crap, I'm now in the hole, $17,500, at $250 a ticket. That's a lot of tickets that I have to sell just to break even, let alone the other speakers that I'm going to be bringing on as well. And then on top of that, there's food, there's entertainment. This event now I realize is going to cost me upwards of $100,000. That made me very scared and uncomfortable. But as an entrepreneur, you learn to commit and then you figure out a solution. And
Yes.
what I realized is I could bring sponsors to the event, corporate sponsors, and charge them $5,000, $10,000 to have a table and to exhibit and to get on the stage in front of 200 people and explain what it is they do and the value they bring to my audience. And so once I saw that opportunity, I started reaching out to corporate sponsors. We had people come in, sure, we'd love to have a table, $10,000, $5,000. Before I knew it, I had covered the cost of the event. And then everything that was made on the ticket sales, of course, became profit. Same decision I made when I chartered private jets, to fly a jet from Houston to Nashville, Tennessee. Private charter is $20,000. I told my wife I'm flying private going forward. I'm not going to fly commercial. She's like, are you crazy? Do you realize how much that cost? And I said, yeah. But what I did is I took the 8 seats that were in the jet, and then I went to my social media and I said, who wants to join me for the experience of a lifetime? You're going to have VIP at the event. You're going to fly there in style on a private jet. We'll have a Mercedes luxury coach meet us at the airport, take us directly to the hotel. Before I knew it, people are raising their hands. Yeah, count me in, count me in.
Yeah.
I was able to sell all the seats in my private jet. And so, doing those things initially scared me, because I realized if I don't sell those seats, God forbid, I'm going to have to spend $10,000 to fly when I could fly on United for $350. But it's getting outside that comfort zone that then gives you the confidence as you start accomplishing these bigger things. And that's probably the biggest secret that I can share about success. People always say there are no secrets. That's largely not true. There are. Number one is you have to go to work each and every day. You have to show up. And when you get knocked down, you have to get right back up. But the second is you can't succumb and give in to these limiting beliefs or that self-doubt. You have to really challenge them break through them, accomplish what you thought you could not do. And that's where the real success, and that's really what I was talking about earlier, is that a great coach or a good mentor sees potential in you, not yet even seeing yourself. Then they
Well,
nurture that and they get you to change your habits and start basically changing your beliefs to grow into a much bigger person.
well, I'm not sure how much of that is your internal beliefs, or how much you just scared your wife if you didn't sell tickets on the plane. I was flashing back. What would it be? How would I tell my wife, like, honey, I chartered this plane, I didn't sell any tickets? That would scare the heck out of me. I would sell them all for sure. Okay, so look, it's been a pleasure, talking generally. If somebody wanted to get more involved, you have your event starting tomorrow. It might be too late. By the time people see this, it's going to be too late to get involved. But people want to get involved in your program or learn more about what you do. What would the next step be?
Well, really, I always say there's basically three tools or three things that we offer that can really help people. Number one is go get my book, Winning at the Capital Game. I've written 3 books. They're all available on Amazon. And so when you go to Amazon, in the search menu up above, just put my name, Brad Blazar. Make sure you spell my last name correctly. It's B like boy, L-A-Z like zebra, A-R. All 3 of my books will come up. And this is a great, great book where I really share all of the secrets I know from A to Z about attracting and raising capital. The second is, there it is right there. Thank you for sharing that, Bill. The second is, consider our coaching and mentorship. We have literally hundreds of students around the world, like I said, in 7 countries. If you'd like to set up a strategy call, it's free, where we get on the phone, talk about basically what you want to do, what you're interested in. You can go to my website and just connect with us. Click on the connect. Send Bill, my assistant Lisa, will schedule a call for us to just talk. It's completely free and complimentary. And then the third, coming to our live event in April of 22. Our live event is called Capital Con. We have celebrity speakers there. We really talk about a lot of how to raise money, how to invest in real estate. Yeah, it's not on the calendar yet, Bill, but if you go to www.bradblazar.com/CapitalCon, you'll see the website there where you can buy your tickets. You can testimonials from any of the people that came. This is a life-changing event, folks. Spend 2 days with us in Texas. BradBlazar.com /CapitalCons, CapitalCon.
There we go.
You have to put an AR in my name, Brad Blazar, B-L-A-Z-A-R. There it is right there, bradblazar.com CapitalCon. This is in April of every year. It is a great event. We have multiple tiers of tickets where you can have, VIP access, proximity to myself, all the speakers. We have, of course, lower price tickets as well. We have virtual streaming tickets. Really just depends on whether you want to be there in person, whether you want to be there for the VIP party. We will have real estate entrepreneurs there that are doing literally, 8 and 9 figures in their business, whether it's wholesaling, doing syndications. We will have mindset coaches. We will have sponsors there. This, of course, is the ticket page. Tickets start all the way down, about $300, go up to $5,000, depending, like I said, on how much proximity you want to the coaches, the speakers, all of those things. But this is of 2022. So those really are the 3 ways that we can help people: the book, the coaching and the mentorship, and then also just attending our live event to really get into the right mindset, to really understand what it takes to be successful.
Got it. Well, look, I'm checking out your event in April. So I've only flown through Houston. I've never been there for anything. So I don't have much experience. And in fairness, I'm probably not the person looking to do the capital raising, but I talk to people literally every week who want to raise money for multifamily, and realtors who want to kind of step up their game from flipping 1 or 2 houses to multifamily. And I think your program is a great tool for them. You have a track record of success, and I would appreciate the opportunity to share you with the people that I talk to. So again, if you want to get in touch with Brad, you will go to bradblazar.com, BradBlazar.com, and we'll have that in the notes down below. You can find his books on Amazon or anywhere you buy books. And you also can check out his CapitalCon 2022 event. That's on the same website, bradblazar.com/CapitalCon. So Brad, I just want to thank you so much for spending time today and sharing with us really kind of the path that people can use to raise their game and raise money for great projects. And just thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you inviting me. Let me just close with this. Like I said earlier, a large portion of our students are real estate. They're wholesaling or they're doing, the BRRRR method at large scale. There's a big difference in real estate about being in what I call a transactional type business where you're rehabbing or you're flipping deals and you're making great money, but you're on that treadmill. The second you stop transactions, you stop earning.
Right.
One of the key principles in Rich Dad Poor Dad that Kiyosaki and Sharon Lechter write about is other people's money. It's understanding that by investing in larger properties like multifamily or whatever, you're able to create passive income. And folks, if you're in real estate, that's really the secret of real estate. Understand how to generate that passive income so that the income you have from multiple rental properties now offsets your living expenses. It covers your mortgage or it covers your rent, it covers your car payment, it puts food on the table. That's the key to financial freedom. You don't have to amass millions of dollars and be wealthy to be financially free. You just have to create enough passive income to cover your expenses. And that gives you the flexibility now to do greater things in life because now you know your needs are met. So set up a strategy call, connect with us. We're here to help. Bill, again, thank you so much for inviting me to be a speaker on your show. And everybody have a wonderful remainder to your week. Keep the hustle, keep the grind, and wish everybody well.
Thanks again, Brad. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.